Hi there, my name is Sophia Hernandez, and today in the spotlight, we are speaking to one woman who is breaking barriers in her craft. She is an inspiration to many, and right now she's going through a pretty big hardship of her own, but she still continues to pay it forward. Today in the spotlight is Moe Newman. Hey there.
Hey guys.
Mo, for those that don't know you, can you tell them a little bit about yourself, what you do?
Me and my husband own Journey South Outfitters in Venice, Louisiana. We do all-inclusive lodging and fishing for our clients. So I am a hostess by morning, fishing guide by day, and hostess by night.
I love that. And I feel like, too, it's such an interesting thing. I mean, a lot of females, right? It's an industry that's probably hard to break into, and not many, you don't see many women at the forefront of that, but you are. Who kind of got you into fishing, or where does this passion kind of come from?
I was born and raised fishing with my mom and dad. In my early 20s, I remember asking my dad, I want to be a fishing guide. How do I do it? And that's the hard question right there, is how. When I met my now husband, he fished just as much as I did, and that was his weekend habit, and kind of every day it was good weather habit. So we then started Journey South, and it's kind of a story you can't plan. It all just kind of fell in place. And so, like, when Eric came along and we started Journey South, that really just helped me push my passion for fishing and for becoming a guide and getting on the water, and, I guess becoming an inspiration for other, kids, moms, girlfriends, wives, anyone that they can do it.
And I feel like, too, it's funny because when I was younger, right, my dad would always, look up to people like you, right? The females that were breaking the mold in that industry, and be like, you could do it, but it's hard. That's what people don't tell you. It's not like, you could just pick up a fishing rod and start fishing and then, take all these people. What was kind of the work that you had to put into it, or the self-confidence booster that you had to give yourself to be able to think that you could do it?
Well, I think a lot of that plays in part. Well, I was an athlete growing up through high school and college. And so being an athlete and a competitive athlete, you kind of build a sense of confidence there. And you do have to be your own cheerleader. And that plays in part in, kind of picking a career that is hard, that's tough to get into, and to keep motivating yourself to, just because you hit a boundary, don't stop. And then another key thing is fitness for me. Being a female guide, I'm not as strong as a man can be, but I'm as strong as I can be. And that being like physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong helps you so much in doing what I do, because, there are days that are taxing on you, and just being a female, sometimes we just want to quit, give up, or cry, and you can't do that. And I think just being an athlete, knowing, that competitive, that responsibility, and just having mental and physical strength helps me, push through days that are just grueling, and wanting to do this and not backing down when the road does get tough.
I love that. I want to talk about that a little bit more, because I think, a lot of times people might see you, someone like you, and we've had guests on this podcast before that are physically strong. You look at them and you can tell they are strong women. But it's not just about that. It is about that being mentally strong, emotionally strong. Where did your passion for that kind of play into the mix? Because I love seeing your posts about it. I know you're pretty avid about talking about it. And why do you think that's so important?
Like being a fishing guy, like, oh yeah, I can reel the biggest fish in, but it's going to take your mental strength to keep pushing you through that. And I just think years of being an athlete, and I played singles a lot, and you had to, like, push yourself through it. You can't give up. That helped train me for what my future was coming, which would be a guide. Your whole day is based on you, your choices. whether they're good or bad choices. And you need to be able to mentally get past those tough choices that, you didn't mean to make, but you did make. And to move forth and it's normal for people, oh God, I went here and I should have went there. And then they show their emotions, where you need to be able to mentally get through that point, keep the day's pace going positive, making sure your clients are good, and keep moving forward. So like just mental strength in what we do every day is very taxing, because the day is all on you pretty much. How the day plays out is how your guide has hopefully chosen, and to keep the positive attitude going forth if the day is bad. So that does get very mentally tough and mentally, challenging for a guide to make sure he's making the best choices of that day to ensure his clients catch fish. And then also sometimes clients are tough, and you got to be able to deal with that. They can be sometimes very verbal on their opinion on how things are going down, but you can't just mentally break down on them and freak out. You got to be able to come up with a situation and make it better for them, to put the trust that they had in you back into, their minds. And so it's a big mental game every day, being a fishing guide. And that's why the importance of just mentally tough is just as important as physically tough.
For sure.
That's
Yeah, I can imagine that. You probably get so many different people from so many different backgrounds, so many different days, just because every day is different. And speaking about that, I kind of just want to let the viewers know a little bit. Usually in our setups, we kind of do like a video portion to accompany this podcast, but obviously you and your family have gone through some tough times recently, and you have really just paid it forward even while you guys are still struggling. Can you tell people a little bit kind of what happened and kind of where you guys are at?
All right, so Hurricane Ida, which passed through, I think we're at a month today or something like that. Anyhow, Venice itself did not receive a lot of damage, but there are some parts that did receive damage, and we are one of the few that did get flooded in Venice. So Venice is our business and our home, and we had to shut down for the year so we could come in and remodel and rebuild a house and really come back with a better product. This, Hurricane Ida to us has a little bit been a blessing in a sense. Yeah, we flooded, we had to gut the house, but Eric and I now look at it as like, okay, let's take this time to rebuild and rebuild better. And in the meantime, since you can't just go in and build quickly, we have been going to feed communities that were hit much harder than what we were. We have a Traeger trailer with a big jambalaya pot on it, so we have been going to the communities in the west of us, like Pouchon, Golden Meadow, Point of Shin, and we just went to Lafitte to go cook for those people, because during times like this, a hot meal goes a long way. And because every day these people are trying to dig out their house, trying to save what they can, trying to rebuild, and don't have time to cook or don't have appliances. And so Eric and I have taken it with some few friends that head that way and do some cooking for them and help, raise their spirits up.
For you guys, we talk about that strong, right? What has kind of been getting you guys through? And I know every day for you, when we've been talking, it's just been so different. And that's kind of what happens when you kind of go through challenges and hardships like that. What's been getting you through during this time?
I think the support Eric and I have for each other, like we make a great team, and we know, like, if we stayed at the lodge every day working, we need to have a break, and this is what has been our break, to get away from our own problems and go help others. So just having I guess both of us having that mindset that, okay, we know our limit of dealing with our issues, we do need to have a happy medium, so let's go help others. And that kind of, makes you feel good inside, and knowing that you're doing good for others.
For sure. And I know too, let's talk a little bit back about, you and your career. You obviously, again, you're a role model in more ways than one, and then just paying it forward. Do you ever feel like there's opportunities when you're just kind of out and about in your own community that, either a young girl notices who you are, asks you questions, pries your mind? Does that ever happen?
It happens a good bit in the marina. And I don't know, I'm just still at the point of this shocks me that someone knows, my name. Because it's just me, I'm just Moe the fishing guide in Venice. And when a little kid comes up, or a group of girls that are fishing with their dad, come up, want to take a photo, want to pick my brain and talk, it's really cool to see. I still get like, oh God, someone knows who I am kind of feeling. You don't grow up want to be well, I didn't grow up wanting to be like popular. Somebody knew my name. I was always wanting to be the person hiding in the background, just doing my stuff. And now, I don't know, you go somewhere, and if I'm in the fishing community, someone knows who I am. Hey, you're Moe. How's your dogs? I'm like, hi, sir. I don't know who you are.
And for those that don't know, Moe
Sorry.
and her dogs, they are infamous. We love Moe and the dogs.
Yes. And I have two. I lost one in May, and she's got replaced by a puppy named Osage. So I got two labs, Clotilde and Osage. Clotilde is 6, Osage is 5 months, and they're just a huge part of who Eric and I are and what Journey South is. And people come to the lodge all the time wanting to meet the dogs because they follow them on social media. It's kind of neat, the the little world we've created.
Yeah, for sure. And you talk about Journey South, and anyone who sees your Instagram, right? You have both. You talk about the lodge and what you guys have built together, you and your husband, but also you individually. You are sponsored by like what, Yeti, Costa. Can you tell me a little bit about all, like, how those things came about, and was there any difficulty, challenges when that kind of came into play?
Yeah, no, I'm very honored to be sponsored by some of the top brands in the industries, from your Costas, Yetis, your Shimano's, Diamondback, Traeger. There's a lot of people that are behind Eric and I and myself, and I don't know, I wouldn't say there was anything. It wasn't tough or any hardships I had to overcome to be able to work with them. I feel these companies really look for people that are good stewards of the sea, good ambassadors of their brand, of their sport. And I feel that's how all that just kind of came in play. And I am one of the only female guides for offshore and inshore in the Gulf Coast. So I think that helped me stand out some, to be approached by these companies, and I'm very honored to work with them. And it's still kind of one of those pinch me things that, I'm on Yeti's website, where never in the world did that ever cross my mind, or like a goal in life, when you're like 15. Yeah. But with working with these brands also, comes a lot of responsibility, and the part I play every day as a person, just average Joe on the streets, how I approach people, how, being nice, being courteous. There's a role with working with these brands, because every day, as I walk around, I am these brands, and people, you never know who you talk to. And say you're mad at somebody one day, or you do something ugly, they could know someone that you work with, and then there you go. So, it's a full-time job on that side, just keeping up who I am and who Eric and I are, what we represent. That a lot of people, I don't think, understand that side of it.
Yeah, for sure. And it does take, it's not just about getting the cool swag and wearing it. It's about, fulfilling whatever the brand's obligations are, and acting under their domain, for sure. And for you too, again, we talk about this role, and you've hinted to it a couple times, that it is a man's domain. Are there ever any moments, even now, years later, where you feel that you either maybe second guess or doubt, and what kind of gets you through in those moments? I never really played the I'm the woman,
hear me roar kind of thing. I'm a woman. I need special privileges to excel. So I've never looked at it. Yes, it is man versus woman in a sense, but I've never looked at it that way. And I think that's what's helped me overcome just different obstacles. I've never been like, oh, poor me, I'm a woman, today's a tough day, have pity on me. Where no, I'm a captain, and the captain's not gender based. It's whoever is running the boat, it's a captain. So it's like, answer your question, I never felt like, oh God, I wish I was a guy, or guys have it so much easier. No, we're all guys, we're all captains making the same decisions, dealing with the same issues every day. And so I really think that I don't play the whole I'm a woman, I need to be here, you need to do special things for me. I think that's helped me succeed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does for sure. And and I think it takes a special someone, and maybe your athletic background, to think in that way, right? That it doesn't have to be a me versus them kind of thing. It's more like I can and I am going to be doing the same thing they are, and I'm going to do it just as good, if not better.
Yeah. Biggest obstacle, if they would not succeed, is them and the excuses they've set out for themselves on why. Like, everyone has trouble growing. Roads aren't just paved for you to walk down smoothly. And it's just, as that individual, it's how they meet these obstacles and overcome them. And that's a big part why I guess, the whole male-female thing doesn't play on me. It's just how each person overcomes an obstacle.
And for you, Mo, I know, obviously, I mean, the fact that you've even taken the time to do this, it means a lot. You guys are rebuilding, and in this, what could be a very, very stressful time, and you guys are choosing to not only give back, but to kind of see some positive from this change of course. And I think a lot of people within the past, 18 months or so have faced some version of that, whether it be bigger or smaller, of kind of like a reevaluation setting, or like something's been thrown their way and they've kind of had to slow the pace and recalculate. Advice for anybody who may be going through that same kind of thing that you are right now, and kind of how to move forward and kind of how to put their best foot forward.
Always have a positive outlook. There's things happen for a reason, I firmly believe. And it's just how you meet these things and what your mindset is. And, you might be at the lowest of lows, but it always could be worse. So I think I'm so positive about my outlook on life and conquering things, that's what helps us move forward and never really see things as a burden or, oh gosh, look what we have to deal with. It's like, all right, here's an obstacle in life. We're going to stay positive. We're going to move forward. We're going to grow from it. And let's see what the next day brings.
I love that. Do you feel like there's anything, I think I see you, right? And I look at you and I'm like, here's this accomplished woman who, is kicking ass, quite frankly. And do you ever feel like, okay, this is it? Like, this is the top for me? Do you feel like there's still room to grow?
Oh, there's tons of room to grow. Like, just as a guide, you never stop learning, because the fish are evolving, the fishery's changing. And so, I think maybe when I retire in my 60s, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm done growing. But till then, I got a lot of learning to still do, a lot of growing as a person to still do. And, every year keeps changing. And so I don't really see, I'm not even close to meeting the top yet.
And all that we get to see and enjoy when you get there. And I always ask everybody to kind of, when we finish off these episodes, I am a big person. I love like quotes or life sayings or pieces of advice that you live by. Mine is always gut feelings are guardian angels. It's like my all-time favorite quote, and I really do firmly believe that. Is there anything that you have, like words that you live by, affirmations that you say, that you want to share with any of the viewers?
When I'm like on a hard time doing something, I always tell myself, let's go, Mo. I don't know, it's just some 3 little words that are meaningless to people, but you say it in a deep, angry voice, "Come on, Mo," and it just helps me push through that day. But I don't have a cute saying like you
I
do.
love that. Wait, that is a great one. That is so good.
But yeah, that's my little saying that gets me going, like lights a fire under my butt.
Oh my gosh, I
So,
love that. That's a great one, Mo. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on the Spotlight. If you want to catch a new episode, we will have season 3 in the works very, very, very soon. And if you'd like to find more information on Mo, Captain Mo, we will put her links down below. Thank you. Thank you.